it's actually hilarious how they react to any challenge, any adversity. And it's actually really scary for the future of our country, because I imagine a lot of this aligns up with that next generation. None of these kids these days, or these young, aspiring journalists or whatever, they've never functioned in the real world, and they live in some sort of fake utopia. So the parents of these journalists going to start calling into the Washington Post to complain because their child didn't get a participation medal. They did run a paper into the ground with their woke nonsense, and now we get to hear about their pouty, whiny voices. I mean, it sounds like a high school right now. People aren't getting their way, so they're going to complain.
So Donald Trump Jr. is essentially saying that this young breed of millennial has had everything handed to them their whole life by their parents. Sir, people in bamboo houses should not throw pandas, as my wife told me was a saying this morning. That's exactly your life, Donnie Jr. Your dad gave you everything, even the hand motions and possibly all the cocaine it seems you are just sandblasting up your nose.
We're gonna just charge you with a bunch of nonsense, and then we're not gonna even let you talk about it to defend yourself in the court of public opinion. Seems sort of contrary to anything America stands for, but so does everything else going on, and highlighted by what they've tried to do to my father for the last 6 years. I mean, this feels like a violation not just of your First Amendment, but of your Fifth Amendment and probably a bunch of other amendments.
How could they do this to a great American hero? That cannot seriously be his voice. I understand that cocaine has an effect on the nose, and I don't think that's a part, but that's the wrong part, buddy. You got to come up with a new character. But anyway, so Don Jr. thinks that it would be unacceptable, unconstitutional, un-American to put a gag order on Donald Trump if he is actively trying to instigate violence against the people investigating him. He's not the only one. Roger Stone said that it was unconstitutional and that it would be election interference to do a gag order against Trump. Bear in mind, Roger Stone, a little bit biased. He had a gag order placed on him after he put out a photo of the judge overseeing his case that had her in the crosshairs of a gun. So again, maybe a little bit biased there. A spokesperson for Trump's campaign slammed the potential of a gag order as a tyrannical third world country order move. But again, it's relatively common. This happens all the time, JR. But all of a sudden, again, now like with solitary confinement, when it comes to January 6 people, they found one case in which they have a problem with it.
It's yet another thing, bro. Listen, everything that they're doing or everything that they're being charged with or accused of is supposed to be immunity for them. No, suddenly gag orders are something we've never heard of. There's never been a trial where gag orders are put in place. Of course they are. But what they're trying to say is it's un-American for you guys to do this to this guy. This is the reason why conservatives or anyone in general in the country gets mad when people say so many rules and things are put in place based off of this idea of white supremacy. So in any other case, would you think that we're supposed to keep some guy who's been accused of this many crimes and done this many investigations and has triggered violence to not be under a gag order because he triggers violence? It's right there in everyone's faces. But because it's him, it's like, can you believe a former president, this guy, Donald J. Trump, walks into a courtroom? They said this on CNN as he walked in. They did the whole dramatic thing yesterday. He walks into a courtroom. This is amazing. This white guy walked into a courtroom and look, he got fingerprinted like a common criminal. That's what happens when you're charged with a crime. You get fingerprinted like a criminal because that's what they're charging you over. So the whole thing about how it's unfair to do this to them, that means the normal unfairness, they're upset it's becoming fair. People who have been oppressive and people who have been in positions of privilege their whole lives, they feel like equality is actually them being attacked. It's amazing how it works because that's what they're used to. Regular life for them is unequal justice in our country. So when it's even, suddenly they're under attack. And also Don Jr. pushes this whole thing about how we can't do this and oh my God, my dad and all this stuff. Why is it that you need to have to flesh this out in the court of public opinion rather than in the actual court? Why is that a thing for them? It shows This is all about partisan politics, even though they want to say it's Alvin Bragg, it's George Soros, it's Joe Biden. If that's the case, the only thing that's making this political is that you guys won't stop talking about how this is political. He's going to be running for president. He's going to be this is giving him the ticket. He's going to be president because of all this. That sounds like it's political and that has nothing to do with trying to defend yourself against these charges.